All right, everybody. Whew, I don't know how much space I got on my phone. And as you can see, things are a little bit cluttered because I literally, somebody just gave me a comment about how I say literally way too much. So I'm literally going to say it a few more times. And so literally, I just finished literally moving in. And as you can see, I got some work ahead of me. But it's not even ridiculously overcrowded here. But I'm tired. I don't have a lot of... Obviously, we need to fix an issue today. The bathtub needs to be... The plumber's on the way. It's Sunday. No, it's Saturday, and the landlord is sending over a plumber already to fix that. And he told me before I even started moving in today, that's a little bit ghetto. I'm going to put something around that, like, maybe a curtain or, I don't know, something to make it a little less in my face. They just put that water heater in yesterday. And he sent a cleaning person over here to clean the place and did a pretty good job. These windows are all single pane, so that's kind of a, I'm going to have to clean those the best I can, and they're a little bit foggy from the AC condensation. But, I mean, come on. This place is way better than where I just left. I've got a fridge. I've got a real oven, a sink, and all the things I need. The only thing it really doesn't have in here is storage, so I'm going to have to get really creative when it comes to that. I might go and buy one more of these wire shelving units today since I have a U-Haul van. But yeah, hold on a second. All right, everybody, I'm tired, but everything has been mostly drama-free today. I know this area of Houston is kind of weird because the houses around this whole area all look nice. It feels like you're in a decent suburbs. Oh, that's not good. Who knows? Anyway, I think a chair got a little dinged up today. Or it may have... Who knows? It may have come from Amazon like that. I don't know. I don't like that chair anyway. But anyway, I don't got a lot of time till my phone beeps at me and tells me it's out of space. So, everywhere you go, every store that you go to is basically the ghetto. And U-Haul was no different. There was this gigantic line, like you're waiting at the DMV, and I'm like, oh my God, how? So I waited in line, and when I'm getting my paperwork processed and getting the truck, talking to the lady at the counter, I had a reservation. Someone walks right up to the counter and says, I have a reservation, and the lady looks up and she goes, yeah, so does everybody else waiting in line. You'll have to go to the end of the line, sir. And so the guy kind of was like, huh, and he turns around and he goes to the front of the line to be the next one called, and all of a sudden it was like a prison fight was about to break out. A bunch of people with tattoos all over their face and looked like they just got out of prison yesterday all started pushing each other and shoving each other around, screaming and yelling you know what to each other. And it looked like, I'm like, oh man, are the cops gonna come? Can I get my van and get out of here? Can I get out of here today without any drama? And the lady behind the counter, this whole like fisticuffs was about to break out, and the lady behind the counter just kept going about her business like, yeah, typical Saturday. Like it was no big deal. This happens all the time. But I got my keys. I got out of there. A couple of employees got in a fight in the parking lot. And I'm like, all right, I'm out of here. Just another reason to love Houston, Texas. That's for sure. But I'm gonna let y'all go because I'm gonna string some more videos together, and when I get, a little bit more set up in here and get some things figured out. But no storage space, no closets. Everything's gonna be out in the open, so I gotta be creative. I've got to figure out how to make this work. But I have almost doubled the space that I had in the old place, along with a place to cook now. The AC's working really good. The move out was drama free. The landlord was gone for the entire day. When I came back with the U-Haul, he was gone. I didn't get any drama from him. I sent him notice that I moved out, left the keys on the counter inside the tiny house. He has a key. He'll get in there. And everything I cleaned, I swept it up. I cleaned it up the best I could, and got out of there. Took me and my friend I worked on it for about half hour, 45 minutes before my friend came, and then we spent another hour and we were gone. And then it took about a half hour to get everything moved into the new place because I could park the door of the van 3 feet from the front door of the place. But as you can see, I took you on a quick tour. I got a lot of work ahead of me over the next week to just eke out some sort of setup here, but it really didn't take long. It took me less than a week to get the tiny house all set up and tidy. I think I'm going to go get one more wire shelving unit because I don't think I should buy anything else. I think the only things I'm really going to buy at this point in terms of, I'm going to get the portable washing machine right away so I don't miss out on laundry. And, oh wow, there's a cool freaking lizard on the fence right outside the window out there. I missed him. I would have taken a video for y'all. Big one. That was pretty cool. Yes, this place is going to be way better. It's going to take a minute to get things comfortable in here, but natural light. I don't even have a single light turned on in here. But this place is way better. It's way better. It has potential. I signed a 1-year lease. I'm sure that if I want to get out of the lease, if for some reasons, an opportunity came along to upgrade my situation and find a place where my son could come and spend time with me and whatnot, I could make that happen. Here is not suitable for that. But, one day at a time. The good Lord was really on my side today, I'm not going to lie. Everything that I was uptight about yesterday didn't come to pass. I got no drama from the landlord. I gave him notice that I moved out. He sent me back a text saying, okay, that was all I got back so far. I'm sure that I'll get some more drama from him. It looks like there might be some already. So we'll see what happens. Peace out. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Adam, and I'm exhausted, but it's been a great day. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on this video because I don't have a lot of space on my phone, and it's gonna be sometime tomorrow when I get some computers and a workspace set up. You can see I'm putting together some wire shelving. But let's see. In summary, I had this really bad feeling every time I was going to tell the landlord that I'm leaving at the end of the month. Excuse me. Whenever I was about to tell the slumlord that I'm leaving at the end of the month, I just had this overwhelming feeling of don't tell him. And so I even said, I'm like, God, if you want me to tell him, you got to make it crystal clear and make it obvious, because I don't feel like that's what I don't feel like that's what I'm supposed to do right here. And that was made crystal clear the day that he, that was Tuesday he came in while I was at work. Like before he even walked in the place, he reached up with his hand and grabbed my camera and pulled it off the wall. And like unplugged it and turned it face down so that I couldn't see anything out of it. And then I'm like, what in the fuck is this asshole doing in this apartment? So the people I work with, I'd only been to work for an hour and a half, roundabout, no more than 2 hours. They're like, you gotta go home, dude. You gotta go make sure that that he didn't come in there and do something. And I felt like I needed to do that too. And so I went home. That was so ridiculous. But when I checked the other camera, the camera he doesn't know about, it's like, don't fuck with the tech guy, you fucking idiot. So when I checked the hidden camera, but it's a hidden camera that doesn't have access to Wi-Fi. It records to a micro SD card. So I had to plug that into my computer to check it. And sure enough, he walked in, but all he did was go over to the sink and run his hand under the water and then turn around and leave. And I'm just like, why'd you have to fuck with my camera for that? And I've said over and over again that the reason why I had a camera out in the open and visible was because I know this prick was coming into the apartment over and over again without giving me any kind of warning or notification when I'm not there. Like, this guy just feels like he is able to come and go from your place as he sees fit without telling you. And so I was like, if this motherfucker's gonna start snooping around in here, I put a camera right out in the fucking open, just like a prison cell, just like Jeffrey Epstein's prison cell, except my camera worked. And my camera had to be disabled purposely for shenanigans to take place. And so I put it out in the open because... What's up, everybody? I don't know if this is going to work right. My phone is full. Storage space is completely full. And I haven't set up a computer, plugged in a hard drive. I haven't done any of that yet. I'm going to try and hold the phone here so that the light is bad. I got windows. They're not the best. The windows in this room are a little bit fogged. They're crappy double pane glass. I thought it was single pane, but it's better than that. Thank God. It's the crappy, cheap double pane windows that can fog in between the two layers of glass, and then it's basically shot out from there. I'm pretty sure that there's no way I can clean these windows. Not without, getting new windows. So it's not a big deal. The view's not much to speak of. I'm going to put curtains over these. I'm going to put window treatments on. Anything that's wrong with this place, and I'm finding stuff on day one, you're all going to laugh. You're all going to laugh really hard when I tell you that I don't have a shower that works. Don't have a shower yet. The landlord was over today. I moved in on Saturday, and his plumber told him he was coming over, but never did. But I believe him. I believe this guy. If this turns into a problem, like a long-term problem, if this turns into an actual issue, then I'm gonna have to pack my bags and leave Houston, because if you can't get an apartment with a working shower, then that's a problem. So, I did notice another weird thing, that it's got a big soaking bathtub. Like, it's not super deep, but it's got to be cleaned. It's still a little bit nasty.
But when you clean this thing, it'll be a nice bathtub to soak in on a weary post bike ride day. And it has no faucet to fill the tub. It's got a knob on the wall and a shower head and no faucet. So, but they're coming over because there's something wrong with the water won't run. And so they've got a plumber coming over tomorrow to come and fix that. And I said, "Can you put a faucet on to fill the bathtub?" And he said he would he said he would ask about it. So at some point, I'm gonna strategically send him a text message in the morning. And then the oven, there's a 220 outlet for the oven, and that needs something done to it to fix it. So I can't use the oven, I can't use the shower, but just like the other place, so there's a building right next door to me, another house about the same size as this one, and the people that lived there just moved out yesterday, and nobody's moving into it until this weekend, Saturday. So he says, I can go over there, take a shower, use the oven, do whatever I want over there. He said he'll leave the door open for me. And he says they're coming over to do this tomorrow. Now, everything else that he said he was going to do, he's done. He said he's going to give me a discount on the rent for any day that I have to go while I'm waiting for this. Plus, I asked him if he could put a better lock on the front door. There were some things, and so he's cool. I'm cool. We're not having beef at this point. But every time I've ever moved into a new place, even with good landlords, I find problems pretty quick. The last place, the best place I ever lived, not the last place I lived, but the best place I ever lived in Pennsylvania. When I first moved in there were some serious problems in what was going to be my office with the electrical. I can't remember what. Oh, there was some sort of loose connection somewhere on a line. And I think it was, I can't remember, but the power kept going out. And the wind was causing some sort of short in something to constantly make the power go in and out, in and out. There was a loose connection somewhere. It turned out that it was the electric company's problem to fix, and they came and fixed it. But the landlord was really good about coming over and checking everything, and he verified, yeah, that's not good. So I had some issues for a few days when I moved in that there was this electrical issue, and it would, like I said, it would fluctuate. I can't remember the details because it was so long ago, but there were a couple other things that were wrong right when I moved in. As soon as I moved in, I was like, oh shit, that's broke. He was right over and fixed them all, within a day or two. And this was all stuff that came out after I moved in. I had been bringing stuff up to the place for weeks, months. I spent 3 months moving into that house very slowly. I would just take a vehicle worth of stuff up a couple times a week and start unpack a Jeep Liberty with the seats folded down. I would fill it up, take it up to the new place, because it was an hour's drive from Pittsburgh, little over an hour. Unload the vehicle, unpack some things, clean, do some things like that, just kind of set things up. And then I would do that a couple times a week, but I was moving a full house of stuff, and the time before that, when I moved, I took a month to move. And the way I would do it, same thing. Now, the time before that, the move was, I didn't live I was on the other side of Pittsburgh, but you're looking at in traffic, let's say half an hour drive from one to the other, but let's say half an hour drive. But distance wise, not very far. So the gas, not as much gas. But I would just start packing my vehicle. Same thing. Take a vehicle. I think I had the Jeep Liberty at the time. So another time, Jeep Liberty, full, take it over, unload it, come back, grab a couple more things, take it over. I would do that a few times a week. I was also trying to sell a lot of stuff and also just basically getting to the point where I would rent a box truck and take one day to pack I would mark kind of like in my mind and make a list. Here are all the things that are too big to take in a Jeep Liberty. And so I rented a box truck one time, made sure to first pack every single thing that I want to take with me, fit it into the box truck, and then from there, whatever other stuff. But when you move, man, it's always shocking when you move how difficult it is. And even at yesterday, packing to move, I was actually kind of shocked at how difficult it was to get packed and move. So I'm going to tell you the whole story of what happened yesterday, because it's so I had that job interview on Friday. It went well. I don't know what's going to happen with it, but it went well. I won't know anything until this week. And then, I feel like I'm a long way away from, the finish line on that, because job interview went well. Even if they make me a job offer on Monday or Tuesday, which is what I'm being told would most likely happen, that they don't mess around, that if they have a good impression on the first interview, they'll just pull the cord and say, come on in. It's a 1099 contractor relationship, so they can hire you and fire you in the blink of an eye, and no harm, no foul. There's no paperwork. They can just say, we don't need you to come back. See ya. So they were talking in the interview that they're looking for someone to be full-time, to actually come in as an employee at some point. But, a lot of times when companies do this, it'll be a year before they do that. So next question on my mind then, of course, is, okay, since it's a 1099 contract, I feel like there's a 50-50 chance that they're going to do a background check, drug testing, and all that kind of stuff. But it's a big enough company, the company I'd be working for as the contractor. And so I was talking to my best friend. He came to help me move yesterday, and he said he got a job as a 1099 contractor for a company when he moved here to Texas. And he said they just hired him. No problem. Like, no, none of that stuff. Just started paying him. He started working, they started paying him. But he could have stayed as a 1099 contractor, but he wanted to become a W-9 employee because he was getting ready to buy a house, and it would look better to the bank if his income was a full-time job versus a 1099 contractor. And so he took the opportunity that they gave him to convert to an employee, at which point they did a background check and probably nothing else, but I think they did a background check on him. And so, with that said, that could happen to me. They could hire me as a 1099 contractor and just say, come on in. No background check, no nothing. When you're a contractor, they treat you better. I mean, companies, somebody left a comment in the comments. I want to get to the move part, but somebody left a comment in a recent video that I've pushed up in this batch of videos that's going out, saying that, you just need to let go of trying to work for somebody else and do your own thing and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine and dandy. You're not on fucking probation, number one. And I'm going to take whatever path allows me to survive. I'm in survival mode. I'm not in making my own decisions and doing what I want mode. I'm in what do I have to do to survive. So if a company out in Houston wants to pay me to come in a few days a week and then work from home for 2 days a week, and they want to pay me more than 6 figures to do that, I can't say no to that. Even if I'm like, I don't really think I want to work there, who the fuck would turn that money down? Who would do that? Especially in my situation where I can't even afford a fucking car to go to that job from day one. But a month into that job, I could go out and buy a car with cash. So, I'm going to do what I have to do to survive. But, so I feel like it's a 50-50 chance on the background check. They might do it, they might not. They're a lot more lax when they hire contractors at these companies than they are with employees, but not always. I've seen it go both ways. There's been times where I got hired as a contractor for a bank, and they're just like, come on in. Nothing. Then there's times I got hired as a contractor for a bank, and I had to jump through all the same hoops that I would have had to jump through if I were a actual employee of the bank, in terms of background checks, drug testing, all kinds of stuff. Banks can be a little more stringent as well when it comes to if I hold the phone that way, okay. Banks are a little more stringent when it certain banks. I worked for Mellon Bank for a while once, and they had just gotten in trouble with the federal government because they lost 70,000 people's tax returns or something like that, and it ended up being some guy inside the bank embezzled the money and he went to federal prison for it, and the bank took a big hit, and it actually caused bank laws to change and hiring laws to change for banks. It was a big deal back in the day. And so when I got hired there, I had to go through all kinds of crazy shit that I wouldn't normally have had to go through. But it was because it was that bank. They had extra stuff that they were putting people through because of that scandal. And then the division that I was working in got bought out by some other corporation, and then I started, but I was a contractor, and I had to jump through the same hoops I would have had to jump through. Except I don't think they made me take a drug test at that one, but I don't know, that it's all hit or miss. I've seen it go both ways. I've been bracing and expecting background checks, drug tests, all that kind of stuff, and I'll wait for like 3 weeks and it never happens, and I'm like, oh, okay. guess they don't do that here. And then there's been other companies where I never would have thought in a million years they'd do something like that, like a small design shop or something like that, and they're more stringent and rigorous than a Fortune 500 corporation would be. So you never know what to expect. That's why I'm trying not to set my expectations. I'm just going one day at a time with this. So I had the job interview on Friday. Like I said, it went well. I don't count it as real till the money's in the bank. So I'm trying to I got a window there, and if I put the camera right here, right in the middle, I can keep the light flare from being too disruptive, and my hands are getting sore, but if I hold my hand just right, the video quality sucks, but that's fine. I just moved into this place. I'll be able to figure something out. I'll probably have a specific place set up for shooting video, but I don't know. I'm not, before I was talking about, I'm going to have a nice backdrop, blah, blah, blah. Then you move in and you see how things actually fit in a space. And I'm like, I'm going to make my space functional. But I'm going to make it look nice, but it's going to be functional. But let me talk about the move yesterday. So I go and pick, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to start from the U-Haul. Ride my bike over to, I'm kind of like, I had a lot of anxiety because the landlord, the slumlord was toxic. So, I signed my new lease on the 18th of May. I put the money down on this new place on the 18th of May, exactly 1 year to the day that I started this YouTube channel, which I thought that was kind of ironic. And then a few days later, I signed the lease. And so we're locked. Money's paid. Money's out of the bank. I got everything except for the key was in my hand. And it was just a matter of picking a day to go meet the guy to get the key. So the guy's cool so far. But this other the slumlord, he is very unstable. I've seen him do things, and I've seen the way he reacts when he feels like he's been crossed. He's the one who goes around double crossing people and ripping people off and pulling scams on people. But then when they retaliate against him, be it legally retaliate by taking them to court or retaliate in other ways, he goes off the rails and does things. And so I've seen this and I observed this and I'm like, I really don't think I should tell this guy I'm moving. Till the last day. If he sees me moving out, I'll be like, yeah, I'm moving out. And I kept going back and forth about this and I just had this really bad feeling in my gut. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. So I didn't do it. And I was talking about, before the video cut off a while back yesterday when I ran out of space, I was saying that there was a day, Tuesday, I had to come home from work early because he walked into the tiny house. Before he even walked in the room, he reached up and grabbed the camera like that and pulled it off it sat on a little shelf with a little thing that kind of kept it in place. And he just pulled it down and set it face down and unplugged it so that it was off. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And so he thought he was being all crafty and whatnot. And so he comes over, he runs his hand. This motherfucker just basically thought he can just let himself in and out of your apartment if he's your landlord. He feels like he can just come in and out of your apartment at his leisure whenever he wants without telling you about it. It's his place. He still thinks it's his place. And he thinks he can just come and go as he pleases without letting you know, without telling you. He could probably, if that camera wasn't there, he probably would have went through my stuff and went snooping around more than he did. Which he didn't snoop. I never caught him going through my stuff. But he was very fucking shady. Very shady. And it made me very uncomfortable. And so I decided, no, I'm not telling him. And I didn't want him to be there when I moved out. So Saturday, I made a reservation with U-Haul. Ironically, when I called them, they said, oh, you don't need to make a reservation. We'll have plenty of trucks. Just come on in. And I said, I'll make a reservation. How's that? So I get there on Saturday. When I walk in, there's literally a line all the way around this fucking place. I'm like, oh my God, did I just pick the ghetto U-Haul? And because everything in this fucking neighborhood is like, I went and ate at Chipotle yesterday, and that's the only time I've been anywhere in this neighborhood where I don't feel like I'm in the ghetto. But anyway, I'm at the ghetto U-Haul. I'm waiting in line. I got there at like 8 o'clock. It's like 8:45 when I get to the front of the line. Okay, that's how crazy it was. They had 3 people at the rental counter. And as I get closer to the counter, they're yelling out, if you don't have a reservation, we don't have any trucks. But people were still waiting in line. And they'd walk up to the counter and say, I don't have a reservation. And she'd be like, sorry, we don't have any trucks. Try to come back around 4 or 5 today. We might have something. And so I'm like, oh yeah, you don't need to make a reservation. Just come on in. That's what they told me on the phone. No, I had a reservation, so I was good. Now the ticket counter, the people there, that was fine. It was fast. Once I got up to the counter, the processing the paperwork, here's my license. They had me scan my license with my phone before I even got up to the counter. She said it would speed it up. So I'm like, all right, I clicked on a link she sent, scanned my license front and back. And then when I got up to the counter, she's like, cool, she's like, that saves me like 5 minutes. I'm like, all right, cool. She got me all processed. Everything was good to go. Got the keys. I'm off of the door. But while I'm waiting for her to process the paperwork, a guy walked right up to the counter, cut everybody off in line, went right up. It's the ghetto. Walked right in the building, walked all the way up to the counter. All the counters had people getting their paperwork processed. And he just puts his arms on the counter and he goes, I got a reservation. And the woman behind the counter goes, okay, sir, sorry. But all these people waiting in line, they also have reservations, so you're going to have to go to the back of the line. And then you hear people in the line going, get to the back of the line! Get the back of the line! I'm like, oh, here we go. So now this guy leaves the counter and he goes to the front of the line, thinking he's going to be the next one to get called. And all these people in the line start yelling at him, hey man, you got to go to the back of the line. You can't just cut us off. You go back of the line, Holmes. And so the guy who is trying to cut everybody off turns around and he's like, yeah, what up, nigga? What up, nigga? What you gonna do, nigga? And so the like 3 white guys all covered in tattoos are like, yeah, nigga, what's up, nigga? Nigga, you wanna fuck me, nigga? Fuck you, nigga. Fuck you, nigga. Fuck you, yeah, nigga. Yeah, you wanna bust them up? They start pushing each other around. Yeah, well, that's what's up, nigga. What you gonna do, nigga? And I'm like, oh my fucking God, I'm back in prison now. So I don't know. I guess the white guys that were in this brawl, I guess they had a nigga pass from some, because they could use that word and it didn't actually get to fist fight yet. So I'm like, I don't know who signed, but they probably have they probably carrying around a nigga pass in their wallet that allows them to use that word. I don't know, but that's all I kept hearing. I'm like, yeah, nigga, that's what's up. Yeah, fuck you, nigga. What you gonna do, nigga? Huh, nigga? No, nigga. And so they're just going back and forth. And I'm sitting here going, oh my fucking God, just give me the keys before the cops come. Please give me the keys before the cops come. I want to get out of here. And woman behind the counter was just typing away. She'd look up every now and then. She'd look back down at her screen. Ticket. She's just looking like, yeah, this is it's a typical Saturday. Like, I guess this happens every day. Like, the people behind the counter weren't even fazed by it. Like, I guess this is just how it goes. Every Saturday morning, there's a brawl. That's just how it goes. So she hands me the keys and the paperwork, and she's like, there's the van down there. I'm like, see ya. See ya, nigga. I'm out. So, I don't know if my nigga pass is still valid, but up until I got out of prison, I had a nigga pass. I could say that if I wanted to. I just chose not to because I wanted to feel like a normal human being while I was going through that shit. But I did have a nigga certification and a nigga pass that I could carry around to show people, hey, if anybody gets mad at me for using the word nigga, hey, nigga, I got a nigga pass right here, nigga. What you gonna do about it, nigga? Bonafide. I was trying to get it signed by Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre, but I'm not that important. But maybe someday I could get my nigga pass signed by some legitimate, top tier, top shelf niggas, and then I'd be able to say that word without repercussion. But for now, it is what it is. But anyway, I got the fuck out of there. I grabbed my bicycle. I I got to that van. There were employees fighting in the parking lot, like getting ready to throw fists on each other. I'm like, holy shit, get me out of here. Left. Whew! Phase 1 complete. Phase 1 complete. Now I had to stop at Home Depot. I wanted to get 2 little storage tubs because I had some loose stuff to pack. I can't hold my hand like this anymore. I'm just going to keep messing around with the angles until I can... I can't hold this. This phone's bigger than the other one, and I can't hold it in my hand anymore. Phase 1 complete. I get a hold of my friend. My best friend, he came down to help. Freaking awesome. Oh my God, that made a huge difference. So I figure, what the hell? I didn't even care about the time being wasted, because when I left to go get the U-Haul, the slumlord was still at the house, still parked in the driveway. But I know that he goes to his work on Saturdays, so I figure if I waste some more time at Home Depot, get some storage bins. I got 2. It's all I was going to need. Come back to the place and start. When I get back to the place, I shouldn't see his car in the driveway. In fact, when I got back to the place, there were no cars in the driveway except for one of the tenants. The driveway usually looks like a fucking parking lot. This guy is trying to turn a small house into an apartment complex, and I'm sure his neighbors are fucking sick and tired of him, that's for sure. But his neighbors suck too, so either way. But I'm sure his neighbors hate him. So I get there with the U-Haul van. Everybody's gone. Perfect. My tiny house was a bit cramped. So I go to the tiny house and I start moving as much stuff, boxes and things like that. Anything, big backpacks and stuff full of clothes. Anything I can move myself before my friend gets there. So I had about half an hour. It was about 9:30 when I started moving boxes and stuff. And I made a bunch of trips back and forth. Oh my goodness. I don't know why I get so I get phlegmy on these videos, but not in real life. I got a hiccup now. Hold on a second. Coffee time. Oh man. Shit, man. You're getting, I don't know. I'm not even editing. I don't give a shit. People, you're going to get mad if I edit. You're going to get mad if I don't edit. So I'll do what the fuck. If I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't, I'm just going to do whatever the fuck I want. So, so I start moving to the van. And I got a pretty good number of trips in. I got a fair number of trips on my own out to the van. And then boom, my friend shows up about 10 o'clock. And I'm like, yes. Oh, thank God. So it felt like it was taking a long time because it's one of those things that, oh crap, I forgot I got all these little things. Throw them in that box. Oh, we've got all these little things. Throw them here and there and the other thing. But anyway, we get it down to where there's almost nothing left. I take my broom and I just do a quick, I sweep up the floor quickly. I'm not like trying to do like Martha Stewart level cleaning in there or nothing, because I know what's about to happen. I just wanted to get the fuck out of there. The one mistake that I did make was I wanted to take a tour of the place with the video camera turned on and my friend as a witness in the video, so I could say this is the condition that the place was left in and document it. But I was in such a hurry to get out of there. The other tenants were out on the back patio watching us move. I was wondering if they were going to call him and tell, but they don't like him either, because he's basically ripping off everybody that lives there and treating them like shit. So And he does that, but then he tries to act like he's your best friend and that, we're all friends here and whatnot. But, I got a couple of, oh, you're moving out, remarks from the other tenants. And I'm like, yep. And that's about the extent of it. But we were out of the place at 11 a.m. So an hour and a half it took to get everything from the place to the vehicles. I put my 2 bicycles and a couple of totes in the back of my friend's vehicle. So it took an hour and a half to move out. I swept up, took out the trash. I left the place in good condition. There was nothing wrong with it. And so anyway, we leave. 11 o'clock, boom, awesome. In fact, the one tenant had left. So the parking lot driveway was all ours. So we were able to maneuver, do whatever we had to do. We got out of there at 11 a.m., came to the new place here, and because of how close I could park to the front door here, we had the U-Haul van completely unloaded in about 15 minutes, and it took 5 minutes to get the stuff out of my friend's vehicle. We stood around, we talked for a minute, went on I took him on the tour before we unloaded everything. So we were here at the house. We were here until noon, because it took a few minutes to get here from the other place. Not long, but enough, and when we got here, we didn't just jump right into unloading everything. We took a little tour, we talked for a bit, shot the shit, just got, and then we're like, all right, let's get it done. And he had to go back home. But he was gone for 2 hours, essentially. He was gone 2.5 hours, door to door, from his house back to his house. But it helped me a lot. That hour and a half that he came to help, that saved me probably 2 hours of my own time, maybe more. And some of the stuff that we had to carry was heavy. So that helped immensely. Oh my God. I'm going to take his whole family out to dinner, and I'm like, dude, if you need a day laborer to come do, if you get into one of your home projects and you want some extra hands and extra help, just holler at your boy, come on. You guys have helped me so much. Like, I would never say no. I would never say no. I'd drop whatever I'm doing within reason, as long as it wasn't like work that I have to do. I'd drop whatever I'm doing and run over there and help you guys. So, but anyway, that was awesome. So I get into the place here. I pull out a chair. I sit down. I shoot a little video for you guys. And I sit down and I'm like, all right, now's the time. I had a text message ready to go for the slumlord, and I copied and pasted it into my text message, and it basically said, due to the fact, I'm paraphrasing, but I don't have the exact words in front of me. Hold on. I do. Give me a second. All right. I am going to read it to you word for word. So I put his name. I said, hey. I didn't say hey. I said, I'm not going to say his name right now. But I'm like, the lease sets rent at $750 a month until July 31st, 2025. And your demand for $900 on June 1st is illegal. Your failure to provide hot water from February 1st to April 30th, prior illegal rent demands with eviction threats, breach the lease and Texas Property Code 92.056. Section. There's a section symbol in there. I put the section symbol in there. Section 92.056. I'm terminating the lease effective May 31st, 2025, and won't pay June's rent. I'll send formal notice with my forwarding address for my $750 security deposit. I locked the door and put the 2 keys on the counter next to the fridge. And then I got a response back. Okay. A few minutes later, I get another response. I'm heading home right now. I'll go ahead and review everything. Thank you. I'll get back to you. And then about 45 minutes later, I get this message. All right, further inspection of the tiny house. I'm going to deduct the property damage, the cleaning fee, and also violation of not giving me enough written notice. So therefore, your deposit shall be forfeited. Any and all mail, spelled M-A-I-L-L-E, any and all mail, starting today, shall be just thrown in the trash. I have instructed the other tenants already that if you come back to the property for any reason to call the police immediately for trespassing. No need to respond back to me because I went and blocked your phone number and I'm going to take a screenshot of this message. Goodbye. And then I went on Craigslist just for shits and giggles and did a quick search for the title that I already know that he uses for his Craigslist ad, and he had his Craigslist ad up and posted. So, he's a psychotic lunatic. Now, do I want to take the screenshot that I took of his message and forward it to the postal department and say, hey, this guy says that I'm a former tenant and he's telling me he's going to throw my mail in the trash. That is to tell you the truth, that's a federal crime, and the maximum punishment for that is 5 years in prison. Now, are they going to do that? Are they even going to do anything about that? I don't know. But he's already on probation here in Houston. He was a I don't know. I think I know which crime it was. It was a fraud where he made up a business and took a bunch of people's money and then disappeared with it. He had a fake trucking company and a fake landscaping yard work company. And he took a bunch of people's money and just vanished and just disappeared with it. He got caught. He owes all these people restitution. This was in like 2018. And he got deferred adjudication, which basically means he's on probation. He could go, this is a felony. He could go to prison for I don't know how many years. I don't know if I read this. I got a little bit fascinated by reading the court documents on this guy. And I didn't spend tons of time, but whenever I did look, I'm like, wow, this guy's a fucking nut job. So he was on deferred adjudication from 2018. That was supposed to be finished in 2021. He must have fucked something up, because then there was another document saying his probation was extended to May of 2024. And then something else, he must have fucked up again, because it said his probation was now extended to May of 2027 or something like that. So he's basically doing, it's 2018, he's doing 9 years of probation. He's in a stretch of doing 9 years probation for a felony that he committed of stealing people's money. And oh man, he's on probation for a felony, stealing people's money, and he's already fucked up twice and had to go back to the judge and get resentenced twice to the deferred adjudication. And so I don't know, if I were to reach out to his probation officer and say, hey, you've got a guy on probation who's committing federal crimes of threatening a tenant, doing all kinds of illegal shit, and then threatening to throw me out into the street without due process, making a tenant go 3 months without hot water, then raising the rent in the middle of the lease illegally and then trying to strong arm the tenant and threaten the tenant to be thrown out into the street without due process at the end of the month if you don't pay the new rent price, followed by going on a fucking tirade about how he's going to throw all of your mail in the trash instead of forwarding it to you if any mail shows up at the house. Now, I don't get anything at that place that's important, so I give a fuck. Anything I need to change my address for, I'll have it done Tuesday. There's nothing I get mail. I probably got 5 pieces of mail the whole time I lived there. Amazon deliveries, that was another thing, but mail, hardly got mail. Any important things that are gonna need to come in the mail are gonna come, here. So I don't even care about that. But this is where I'm at. This is what happened with that guy at the end. Now I'm gonna tell the whole story about this guy and the place from beginning to end in a video that I'll spend more time with and edit better. But this is the level of psychotic nut job that I was dealing with. He has a jiu-jitsu academy that a dojo somewhere in another area of the suburbs of Houston. Now that business, if you look up that business on Facebook, Yelp, all the different places, people are giving him 5-star reviews. They all love him. So I guess that business isn't a scam. But I guess this dude's hurting for money. And so in the end, I could get at this point, all I'm going to say is at 11 o'clock yesterday, when I drove off of that property with the moving van, the amount of toxicity and stress in my body vanished. It vanished so suddenly and so rapidly that I'm not even achy and sore from it today. It was like I might be tomorrow. I don't know. I got to ride my bike to the bakery tomorrow, so that's going to not really be an accurate judge of my toxic stress levels and all that. But the leaving that place, I'm telling you, the second I started driving down the road from that place, the toxic levels of stress that I was feeling and the just all of it vanished. I honestly, I can't remember the last time I felt so good in my life. It was such an extreme, on so many levels, a release and a feeling, an overwhelming feeling that things were going to be okay. Because I was praying all day long. I had a lot of anxiety right up until that 11 a.m. departure. I didn't want drama from this fucking slumlord. And I just kept praying all day. Jesus, I know you've got my back. You keep showing me that you got my back. You keep showing me over and over and over again. And I still don't believe it. Even though you show me just about every day that you've got my back and you've got me covered and you've got me protected and you're not going to let anything bad happen to me that I can't handle. Need to put in that disclaimer. You're not going to give me more than I can handle. Yet I wake up today and it's not that I don't trust you, but I don't trust you because I'm nervous and have all this balled up fear inside and anxiety about all this stuff. And if I really did trust you, I wouldn't have that. I would just be like, all right, it's another day. Let's get it done. And, but as soon as I left that place, I'm driving down the road in this U-Haul and I'm just praising God. Just screaming it out loud. I'm like, Jesus, you're so freaking awesome. Oh my God. God, you're fucking great. Oh, I was just like a Muslim running around going, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Like, just, yes, God is great. That's all Allah Akbar means, is God is great. So, you know, I wasn't screaming Allah Akbar. I mean, I didn't need to draw that much attention to myself driving down the road in a fucking U-Haul van yelling Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. Probably, I'm in Texas, so that might have drawn attention to myself yesterday that I didn't need to draw. I'll just put it that way. So I wasn't screaming that. I had the windows up, the AC on full blast. I wasn't screaming Allah Akbar driving a rental U-Haul down the road. So, speaking of total side story, back when the Boston Marathon bombing took place, I was trying to, for some reason, my vehicle was in the shop for a week or so, and the Boston bombing had just taken place, and now the bomb was made with pressure cookers. Remember they put a bomb together using pressure cookers? Well, at the time, I had been looking for a pressure cooker. No kidding. I'd been looking for a pressure cooker because I wanted to cook some good Indian food, and I also wanted to can. I was looking for a pressure cooker for canning, so a nice big pressure cooker. And I found a really sweet deal, because the good ones really aren't that cheap. But I found a really sweet deal on a really good one out in Oakland, and I live in Pittsburgh. I could take the trolley, I could take the train down to downtown Pittsburgh, hop on a bus, go out to Oakland, get my pressure cooker, come home, and then I'm thinking, is that really the smartest thing to do this week? And I started to think, what's going to happen if I try to get on the bus and I'm walking around carrying this big ass pressure cooker because it won't fit in a bag, it won't fit in a backpack, so I'm just walking around with a pressure cooker trying to get on the bus and trying to get on the trolley, like a week after the Boston bombing, where, you know, these so-called terrorists blew up the Boston Marathon with a couple of pressure cookers, and now I'm trying to get on a bus carrying a big old pressure cooker. I'm like, that's maybe I should just wait until I get my vehicle out of the shop, or maybe try and call a friend. And then the damn pressure cooker disappeared and it was sold, and I was like, fuck, I could have gone pressure cooker. So what would have been worse is if I had gotten on the bus with a pressure cooker, just carrying a pressure cooker with me, yelling Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, Asamasaleka, or hot bacon salami, or whatever they say. And so yeah, didn't get my pressure cooker that week, unfortunately, but that would have been the same response that I probably would have attracted to myself if I was driving down the road in a U-Haul van going, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. Probably wouldn't have worked out too well for me, especially being on federal probation. That I would have had to explain some shit. I was just happy. God is great. I was thrilled. Sorry, I lost my cool. I'll keep my prayers to myself. But God is great. He got me here without any issues at all yesterday. I look at the U-Haul brawl as entertainment purposes, because it was something to entertain. It was entertaining to watch. And I didn't want to have to deal with the police showing up. So I wanted to get the hell out of there. But it was fun to watch. And U-Haul themselves, the people that work there, that I had no problem with them. To tell you the truth, it was a pretty smooth experience. I would not be opposed to renting a vehicle from them again. On a side note with that, I have to be creative. And the car rental places here, the Enterprise Rental gave me no problem at all. No problem renting a minivan to go from Jamestown, New York to Houston, Texas. They let me use a debit card to pay for it. My driver's license didn't give them a problem, nothing. I've had to rent 2 rental cars since I've been here in Houston. Both times they gave me the biggest hassle imaginable. The first time they gave me a hassle because I still had a New York driver's license, and this was back when I was trying to get my license switched to Texas, but they wouldn't let me yet. So they said, you can only pay with a credit card if you have an out-of-state driver's license. We can't let you pay with a debit card because your driver's license is out of state. And I'm like, you let me pay with a debit card to drive a van all the way from Jamestown, New York to Houston. And they're like, yeah, but you lived in New York at the time. And I'm like, okay, fine. So my friend put it on his credit card and I paid him. He was standing right there. He put it on his debit card. In fact, he didn't put it on a credit card. He used his debit card. He showed him his driver's license, and they put it on his debit card right there. No problem. The next time I go to rent a vehicle, now my driver's license is Texas. Now they're like, well, you can't use a debit card. You have to use a credit card. And my friend was right there. He was like, last time I came in here, you let me use a debit card. I showed you my driver's license, and I gave you a debit card, and you let me use it. And they're like, no, but our policy says that in order to use a debit card, you have to bring us a utility stub, you have to bring us 3 paycheck stubs, and you have to bring us a utility bill that's current with your name on it, and we want to see a bank statement. They wanted to see, and we need a copy of your lease or your mortgage. And I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind for a $70 car rental for one day to go to Houston and back? Or this was actually the minivan rental for me to move in here, or to move into my last place. And my friend was like, what the fuck? And my friend was like, I just paid with a debit card a month ago. And all I needed was my driver's license. Why are you hassling my friend like this? Well, sorry, it's our policy. And he's like, well, it wasn't your policy a month ago. So they gave us all this fucking hassle. So my friend was like, fuck it. He puts it on his credit card. And I just gave him the money for it. He's like, just please don't get in an accident. Please don't fuck this up. And I'm like, I got you, man. I mean, I drive these things like, you know, if it was I will drive this like it's my best friend's vehicle and I can't screw it up. You know what I mean? Like, it's, when I'm driving somebody else's vehicle, I might be the slowest guy on the road. I might take a long time to make a turn. I'm not doing anything that'll put someone else's vehicle in a bad situation. Or, you know, if somebody else hits me, if it's something that's not my fault, if a drunk driver rear ends me at an intersection or something like that, there's nothing I can do about it. Those things will happen. They've happened to me in my own vehicle. But in my own vehicle, I'll be a little bit more laid back and you know, oh well, shit. But not when I'm driving somebody else's vehicle. And even the U-Haul yesterday, I'm like extremely cautious when I'm driving a vehicle that's not my vehicle. So that wasn't an issue. The only issue would have been if somebody else did something. But yeah, Enterprise Rental Car here, and they really did me dirty twice. And it doesn't make any sense because they had absolutely no problem letting me use a debit card to pay for a vehicle rental to drive all the way across the country in one of their vehicles over 4 or 5 days. But now they won't let me do it to go for a one-day rental where I'm going to pick it up in the morning and drop it off that afternoon. It makes no sense. So, creativity. If I do get this job in downtown Houston, okay, Enterprise Rental Car is out. I don't think that there's anything I can do there. I don't think they would ever let me rent a vehicle. Because, like, okay, I have to go, if I get the job, I got to go to downtown Houston 3 days a week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So, Renting a car from Enterprise would cost about $70 a day. So it'd be about 200 something dollars by the time it's all said and done, extra fees, charges, whatever. I would plan on it being $300, maybe a little more. Now, you think that's ridiculous, and it is. But to have a car for 3 days to go to my job where I'm making per day, I gotta think about this. Hold on. 7, 14. What's. Oh my goodness. I got a calculator. Hold on. Okay. I would make, in 3 days at this job, gross, before taxes, I could make $1,600 in 3 days. If the car rental cost me $300 to use a car for 3 days to get to and from that job, not only would I be able to pay for it from that job's paycheck, but, oh, that's my first cop siren at the new place. It's not bad. I mean, this is my first night here. Every now and then I hear a car go by. Every now and then. Like that. It's not the constant roar. It's pretty quiet here. It's not bad. It is in the suburbs. This is a main street here, but it's a two-lane street. It's not 2 lanes in each direction with an island in the middle, like that street I used to live on. And at once I've heard a couple of bass rumbles go by, and I've heard a couple of loud exhausts, but nothing crazy. Like, you can barely hear cars going by. You have to really listen for it. But that was my first siren. So 20 times a day at the old place, I'd hear sirens 20, 30 times a day. I've been here 24 hours now, more or less, I guess you could say, and that's my first, 24 hours I've been here, and that was my first siren. So that's not bad. 1 siren in 24 hours, can handle that. But anyway, renting a car to go back and forth to Houston might be a pain in the ass. I think it has to do with Enterprise rental car locations. The location that wanted all the documentation for me to use a debit card was in the ghetto, here where I live. The one where my friend used his debit card was further up the road in the not ghetto, in the Woodlands. So next time I might just go to the one in the Woodlands and say, hey, I need to rent a car, and see if it goes smooth. But $300 I could rent a car for the 3 days I have to go to Houston, and that's a lot of money I don't want to spend. But if I don't really want to ride my bike, and I'm going to make that much money in those 3 days, financially it's okay to do, at least until I can go buy a car or get a car. I'm talking to that guy about shipping a car over here from California. So far the quotes are $1,200 for the shipping. I just looked again yesterday on Facebook Marketplace to see what cars pop up for $1,200. Not a single fucking car that runs, or it should run great, but it needs a new transmission, or doesn't have an engine, but will probably run if you put one in. That kind of shit. I don't even find a car that runs. Any vehicle that runs for $1,200. So, that's probably, I got to look into that a little bit more, but I've got so many things going on and things can happen so fast right now that I'm kind of like my head's spinning and I got to spend time setting up my apartment, house, whatever. I don't know what I call it a house. It is a house. Technically, it's a house. It's a shotgun house, but it's a house. It's bigger than a tiny house. It feels like an apartment the way it's laid out and the size of it, but it's a house. So I'm going to call it my house. But I'll probably call it an apartment by mistake a bunch of times because it does feel like an apartment in here. But then I was thinking, based on how much the U-Haul costs, I could get a compact little pickup truck from U-Haul on a Monday night and rent it for 3 days, drop off on Thursday night, and it would cost $20 a day, plus $15 insurance, plus the one I rented yesterday, they were charging 99 cents a mile. They told me 89 cents over the phone. They might have a different mileage rate for the middle of the week and possibly for multiple days. But if I said I'm going to go about 150 miles in 3 days, let's say 170 miles at, let's say $1 a mile, 170 miles at $1 a mile, $170 plus 246, $60, so 78. I got a calculator right in front of me. I'm brain dead today, people. So, I'm going to say $1 a mile times 170 plus 60 for the 3 days plus 45 in insurance, $275 it would probably cost. Now, ironically, it would probably cost $300 to rent a U-Haul pickup truck for 3 days to go back and forth to Houston, and it would just be billed differently because the rental car places, the rental car is going to cost $70 a day plus the insurance plus whatever. It's not going to be that easy. Or it's probably going to come to the same price. The pickup truck will use more gas. The car would be nicer to drive. Rental car. But for the same price as a rental car, I could go over to the U-Haul just down the street, rent a truck for 3 days, and go downtown Houston. Just take the truck with me. And drive to work for $300. And it was very hassle-free. Can we see your driver's license? Yep. Do you got your credit card? Yep. Or your debit card? Yep. Here. Okay. And they just put an authorization on the card for what they think you're going to use based on the mileage that you tell them you think you're going to go. And so you've basically prepaid for it. And then in my case yesterday, they put an authorization on for $70. And at the end of the day, they charged me $58. It was $58 to rent the van for the whole day. $58. Plus I put $10 in gas, and I put more gas in than I used. So that's an option. Uber, 25-mile Uber ride each day, plus having to make sure that the Uber driver shows up and doesn't cause you to be late for your job, and then having to make sure an Uber driver will show up and take you home. So Uber would be an option to look into. Option number 3 is paying $1,200 for a specialized turbo e-bike that's a quality electric bike. I don't want to buy. There was another bicycle that I saw that was $2,000, a carbon fiber electric bike, and then I looked at. There were so many. These aren't. I don't want an e-bike that's not made by a bicycle company. Period, because something goes wrong, you're fucked. On the Specialized Turbo e-bike, if the electronics completely fucking fry, it's a 60-pound bicycle with clipless pedals, and it's an actual bicycle. The carbon fiber bike that I was looking at, the way the frame is designed, can't raise the seat post up and down too much, can't adjust the handlebars. If you need to take apart the headset and re-grease the bearings in the headset, I was looking at that and I'm like, holy shit, you can't even take that apart. Or if you do, that's going to be a nightmare. It's going to, the rear wheel was a bolt-on wheel, so now I've got to carry a 15 millimeter box wrench if I need to change a flat tire, take the back wheel off. The Specialized, it's a bicycle with a freaking motor on it. If I get a flat tire, I take the back wheel off. I pop the back. There's a disconnect for the battery, or for the motor, I mean. There's a disconnect plug. You unplug the plug and you pop the wheel out. It's got a quick release. Might even have a through axle, which is a little safer, but it has a quick release wheel. I don't need a tool to take the wheel off to change a flat tire. Front wheel, same thing, quick release. It's got, I believe, hydraulic disc brakes. Should be, you shouldn't have to service those too much. It's a bicycle. It's a bicycle that helps you pedal. You can go about 30 miles an hour from the reviews I've seen on that exact. Now, Specialized makes a ton of electric bikes, but on this particular model, you can go about 30 miles and you might get about a 50-mile range. Now, if I were to put panniers on, waterproof panniers, plus carry my charger with me or buy an extra charger, the chargers can be a couple $100. But if I can take an extra charger to work with me, keep it at the office, have a charger at home, 25 miles to and from is I can put it in turbo mode, which is the fastest speeds I can get. So I can cruise along at 35 miles an hour to work and back. I'm still got a pedal, but I can go 25 to 35 miles an hour average speed to get to my job that's 25 miles away. And to be honest, that's probably faster than driving. In rush hour traffic, I can probably get home faster than driving on an e-bike like that. So $1,200 would give me the e-bike. That would put me out financially. That would put me in a dangerous place financially. But for the job, you just heard me say I could make $1,600 gross in 3 days. That's gross before taxes. That, they're going to take a third of that. But there are tax deductions for riding your bicycle to work that you can play, but it's not much. But there are things that I can do, or I can just continue to ride my bicycle. 25 miles is not going to kill me, but it's not going to be great, and especially if it rains. So U-Haul might actually, because of how convenient they were and how easy to deal with it was, boom, I might be able to do that. That might be the car rental that I have to use to just transport myself to and from. Get the smallest pickup truck. I don't want to drive a big moving van around, but a pickup truck, they're pretty small. So that would be perfect just to be able to transport myself somewhere. So who gives a fuck if I'm using it to transport myself to and from a job versus carrying stuff? Plus, I would have a pickup truck for 3 days that I could coordinate potentially doing things that I need to do with a pickup truck. Like, I saw a desk yesterday, an IKEA desk on Facebook Marketplace for $20. So I could possibly furnish my apartment dirt cheap. A portable washing machine, different things like that I'm looking for I could get for less than half price on Craigslist, and therefore having a pickup truck to go get the thing or whatever would be beneficial there. So $1,200 a month to rent a pickup truck 3 days a week is not going to be sustainable. That's more than my fucking rent and bills. So, but if it was just a one-time thing or a couple of times, it could be a viable option. If I look at the weather report and it's looking like it's going to be a horrible torrential downpour situation for 3 days, I could call up the U-Haul place and say, hey, can I get a pickup truck for 3 days? So we'll see what happens. But I don't know, I'm just trying to kind of think ahead. But in this particular situation, thinking ahead, I don't even have the job yet, but I have to kind of think about, if I do get the job offer, they're going to want me to move fast. And I'm going to have to figure things out quick. And especially the first week, it might make more sense to do something like that for a few days and then turn around and say, hey, if I want to ride my bike to work, is there a safe place for me to put it? And can I get into riding my bike to work? And then it'll seem like, oh, he's a fitness guy. That he's a really cool dude. Oh, he's green. Go green. That the liberals love it when you say you're going to ride your bike to work. So, but for the first week, I don't know. There's just different things I got to take into consideration here, and but anyway, it's been real. I want to say peace out for now, and we'll talk soon.